Wednesday, 11 a.m. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Prevention TV. If you think about it, the German Prevention Congress has existed since 1995. 10,000 participants have taken part over the years. About 1,000 lectures have been held and also documented on our website. And yet sometimes the question arises, what has come from it? What might have changed? What have we been able to influence? How have issues developed? What demands emerge from the discussions at the German Prevention Congress? And a reflection of this is perhaps our expert reports. Since the 12th German Prevention Congress in Wiesbaden in 2007, we have had the rule that we draw up an expert report every year on the main topic. And on the basis of this report and the main topic and the current debates at the annual Congress, declarations are made which are usually linked to the name of the city in which this Prevention Congress took place. And today we want to look back at the declarations that have been made since 2007 on the occasion of the German Prevention Congress. What demands did we want to confront politics, science, and practice with from the viewpoint of the German Prevention Congress and its partner organizations? Education and qualification are the prerequisites for individual life chances and social participation. Therefore, educational justice must be provided in a democratic state. Education is prevention, and prevention is education. The German Prevention Congress appeals to those responsible in politics and the social media, as well as civil society groups at local, state, and federal level, to continue to make every effort to support families in their educational and relationship skills, to resolutely combat the causes of poverty and disadvantage, to provide children and their families with an adequate standard of living, as well as opportunities to participate in social life. With regard to the great potentials, but also the dangers and risks of digital media, the German Prevention Congress emphatically demands that the internet should not become a lawless place, but that a balance should be found between the right of freedom of information and expression and the justified need for protection of internet users. Internet users must be able to rely on the rule of law to ensure the confidentiality and integrity of information technology systems. The German Prevention Congress deems it extremely important to conduct both broad-based representative criminological studies as well as long-term panel and longitudinal studies. An evidence-based crime policy requires sufficiently reliable databases, which urgently needs to be created. So far, the German Prevention Congress has warned against repeating the pitfalls and arguments of the conventional media and criminal discourse on youth crime and youth endangerment in the digital media risk discourse. For the German Prevention Congress, there is no reason to assume that digital juvenile delinquency and youth endangerment are subject to different conditions and laws than analog juvenile delinquency and youth endangerment. Here too, there is an urgent need to create secure knowledge through criminological studies on the media and communication behavior of young people that are as long-term as possible. It took me a while to realize that security is not only internal and external, but also, above all, social and economic security, meaning social justice, the reliability and predictability of one's life. With regard to the dimensions of security just mentioned, Germany is certainly one of the safest countries in the world in terms of internal security, but Germany is not that in terms of social security, social equity, and justice. The fact that there has nevertheless not been an increase in crime and fear of crime has mainly to do with two factors. Firstly, The fact that in Germany, the social and welfare state enshrined in the constitution is still effective. Secondly, the favorable development in the security dimensions of crime and fear of crime has a lot to do with how crime is prevented, or at least reduced in our country. Not primarily through repression, through punishment, but through prevention. However, the basic prerequisite for a meaningful victim-oriented crime policy should be that the interests and the will and concerns of the victims are determined and not simply assumed. Blind actionism in the form of symbolic legislation that bypasses the actual needs of victims does not help them. One thing, however, is clear. Not all victims are the same. This is another reason why the demand for as much victim autonomy as possible is crucial to procedural reforms as well as to the victim assistance system. The criminal justice system is fundamentally enabled to meet the needs and wishes of victims, recognition that the victims have been wronged. Help and appreciation must come to victims first and foremost from outside the criminal justice system. Whatever we do for the victims of crime, it would, of course, be better if people did not become crime victims in the first place, because even the most victim-friendly criminal justice system and the most well-developed and functioning victim support system cannot make up for victimization, and they certainly cannot undo crimes. In this respect, crime prevention is the best victim protection. The German Prevention Congress calls on politicians to establish committees for municipal crime prevention at the municipal and district level and to examine the establishment of staff units for crime prevention in their respective municipalities, districts, and regions in order to further develop municipal crime preventions in the direction of a municipal security policy. In the view of the German Congress, Prevention Congress, there is a considerable need to catch up on crime prevention at the federal level. The German Prevention Congress emphatically demands the long overdue course correction of crime policy towards crime prevention and away from crime policy that merely serves repressive means. The German Prevention Congress calls for the preparation of periodic security reports by an interdisciplinary scientific committee and, above all, demands the creation of a national center for crime prevention with sufficient organizational, personnel, and financial resources and linked to the Federal Chancellery. The German Prevention Congress sees the economic consideration of crime and its prevention as a way to achieve an expansion of evidence-based crime prevention at a political level. In this context, however, the German Prevention Congress emphatically points out that cost-benefit analyses may promote political decisions, but they can by no means justify them, at least not on their own. If cost-benefit analyses of crime and its prevention were to lead to policy only supporting what is economically viable, then the goal of these analyses to contribute to an evidence-based prevention policy would be missed. And now I wish you an insightful presentation and exciting discussions. And above all, stay healthy and confident.